Welcome to Rainbow Soul Vodcast, where our Soulstrology comes forward to help you manage your everyday life, with forecasts and deep dives on natal charts and queer perspectives on the planets, transits, and more. A group discussion about upcoming transits with tips on how to read these transits in your own chart. Hollis offers years of wisdom and natal chart knowledge with Brighthawk's positive perspective and Lacrosse's inquiry. We offer the complete queer astrology experience. Welcome to Rainbow Soul. Please help us by subscribing, sharing, and commenting and reviewing. You can also learn where else Rainbow Soul is offered on our website at rainbowsoul.show.
Hello, welcome everyone. Woo! I hope that you're doing well. I hope that it's going pretty good for you, and that you're getting through this Pluto Sun connection right now. You might be noticing some intensity in a variety of ways. So if you're noticing that, stay tuned so we can talk about that some more. But first, I want to take us on a little bit of a meditation.
By the way, I'm Brighthawk.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
You can learn more about me at brighthawkproductions.com. I'm an author, an artist, an astrologer. I'll do all my A words today. A musician. That's not an A word.
Not really, unless you say a musician. I'm Hollis Taylor, and I'm one of the astrologers here. And I do offer private readings. You can find the link in the description. And of course, obviously, I'm a little frazzled in the moment, but we're going to take a minute to breathe, okay? Let's all take a minute to breathe. Like, it's probably a good idea anyway, right? Just take this moment to take a few deep breaths and settle your feet on the floor and get yourself settled to listen. As you listen to the vibrations of the handpan, allow yourself to feel stretched out on the ground, with the earth beneath you in a perfectly safe space, staring up at the beautiful night sky with me. And maybe there's lots of people around you also quietly staring up at the night sky, like a collective witness. And as we witness the beautiful night sky, the moon getting darker, and the sky and the stars getting brighter, you notice one constellation that comes forward. This constellation is symbolized by a watery air type symbol, like little waves, 3 little waves drawn together. Aquarius. And Aquarius switches over to a person holding on to a barrel of water, pouring it out. Pouring it into the river into the ocean of emotion, like a god among us. And as we witness this pouring, we recognize a new beginning, a calling of us, a calling of our hearts, a calling of our humanity, a calling for all of us that we can hear within our souls, in our gut, in our heart. We can feel it calling us forward to remember one very important thing. As humans, we are one. We are in this together. All of us, right here, right now, everyone, listening or not, we are all one. And this time with Pluto in Aquarius with the sun speaks to our perspective, to our view of the world. And on our own time and through our own experiences, we are all on a journey to discover our connection as one within the collective. And as you feel yourself staring up at that sky with me and others around you, remember, we are all human beings. And this starts our next chapter. For the next 20 years, we will learn what it means to truly have equality, to live as one, and to lift each other up, to become an equal collective. The age of Aquarius has begun. I invite you to take a deep breath. And as you allow that water bearer to disappear back into the sky, we come back to ourselves, back to this moment in the here and now. Back to begin our very long story of humanity. feel your bottom in the seat and your feet on the floor. Stretch your fingers. Open your eyes and come back to the present, to the here and now. Woohoo! Well done, Bright Hawk. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
How's everybody out there? We have some people watching with us. Isn't that nice?
Yeah,
Thank you for being with us.
I want to welcome Cheryl. Welcome, Cheryl Myers. Great to have you with us again. We're glad you're here. Hey, Sammy. I got some hope for you. I got some hope for you. I promise I have some hope for you this week, okay? And I just want to say that, the astrology, we tried to do, sorry for being a little late. We've have our own lives, and I had some pretty intense feelings, not just emotions, physical challenges that I've recognized now. I know what they are. But I had to go to the ER because my heart was fluttering and I couldn't figure out what it was.
And Hollis had surgery just on Thursday
And
to have a device inserted into them so that it monitors their heart. But this is the kind of thing that would never.
It wouldn't bring on
do
a shock.
anything to.
Yeah, it wouldn't bring in a shock. And I was like, why does this keep happening? The issue with it is that it kind of makes me feel a little awkward and a little sick. And it makes me feel vulnerable, and It hits all my soft spots. Because that's where I'm vulnerable. We all have something we're vulnerable with, and that's definitely my vulnerability. So my heart, both mentally, emotionally, physically, that's definitely my soft spot. You touch my heart and you're probably going to get a million miles with me. So I'm just saying. So I went to the ER, I took care of myself, and I think the doctors eliminated a whole bunch of things. Didn't know why it was happening, but now I know why. Because I'm a medical intuitive. So just saying, if you're suffering with something that the doctors go, I don't know what's wrong, come talk to me. Come talk to me. And I'll use my intuition. I am a medical intuitive. My son's a medical intuitive too. There's definitely something to it. I haven't always recognized it as a gift. I've seen myself as a healer, meaning the people that I'm with usually physically heal somehow. Somehow I bring physical healing to them. I can figure out how to, like my ex, she had horrifying environmental allergies, and I changed her diet and put her on honey every day. So she ate a healthy diet, plus she had honey every day in her coffee, and no longer did she have to take environmental allergy medication, which she was on prescription medication for a while. And Bright Hawk here, I've helped her with also some physical things. And it's just kind of a thing that happens that I'm trying to recognize. I do intuitive wellness. I will refer you to a doctor if I think it's necessary. If you've already been to the doctor and the doctor's like, I don't know, come talk to me and we'll try to figure it out. And I'll try to aim you and give you some things that you can do that will probably help your problem. Okay? So, it took me a day or a couple days to figure out what was going on with me, but I got it now. And Chelsea, she said, "Hello, I'm currently waiting for a very important phone call. It could be life-changing." Woohoo! Okay. Well, good place to tune in, Chelsea. This is a great day for that. The Sun and Pluto are Kazemi or conjunct. They're on top of each other yesterday and today. So it's pretty intense time. So that's really great time to have good, and it's all about intensity. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. I think it's more about like, the level of intensity, right? So we're going to talk more about this, but I just wanted to address the fact that um that I wasn't that we're a little late. Hi Lynette, welcome. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're here. Hi Kathleen, it's good to see you. It's been a bit, but welcome. I'm glad you're here. Michael, I'm not sure what that means. Viral? I'm not sure. I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know what virile is.
Do educate us. There's so much terminology in astrology that it truly is learning another language. So,
Truly.
yeah, educate us.
So what we're going to do is we're first going to talk about this week for like the general public, the general consensus, okay? What it's going to feel like for all of us. And then at the end, I'll go through each person, each sign, and talk about some key points this week that will be important for you, okay? So based on your sun, your moon, and your rising. I highly recommend having your chart available during these, because I do little bits of education to help you start to learn to read. One of the ways that I learned astrology was by watching these types of forecasts every week. And it really, I had Bright Hawk and I did it together. We had our charts in hand and we would listen and we would make reference to our charts all the time. And we would be able to kind of, what do you want to call that? Like interpret it, like be able to like learn how to interpret it based on that.
And the best way to learn astrology is to start with your own chart. So
absolutely,
there's lots of free resources, and there's some good paid ones too, where they give you a whole printout of everything, all the aspects of what everything means. But just to get started, just to have basics, you can get your chart at, like, I think it's astrocharts.com.
Yeah, that's
you can just Google
astro.com.
There's lots astro.com. Of them. There's tons of them.
I usually recommend Astro just because it's very like astrologers mostly. Yeah. Michael Nelson, I know all about universal life force energy. You're just using a different term, I guess, for it.
There you go.
So thanks for educating me. I would say that I will be talking about that because of the Sun-Pluto conjunction, and I did kind of address some of it. We are beginning a new chapter here. This week, we are beginning a new chapter, I would say. This is a new chapter. Talk about life force energy of us personally and of the collective of humanity in general. This is a new chapter, and this week really begins it.
Yeah.
So I want to address. So let's first address on yesterday, Monday, and today, Tuesday, the Pluto Sun conjunction, or Kazemi. Okay, so Kazemi just means they're within 1 degree of each other. Okay, and so
and it's in reference to the sun.
Yes,
because of the power of the sun.
Because the sun is our power, it's our vitality, it's our life force, our virile, as we just learned. It's everything. Okay, the sun is like, it lights our way. And regardless of what kind of astrology you're practicing, whether it be mundane astrology or personal astrology or even medical astrology, one of the things that you look at is the sun. Okay, the sun is actually vital for your life essence. Okay, your life is in your sun, which is why a lot of you know what your sun sign is, right? So you know you're a Virgo or a Taurus or an Aquarius, okay? Whatever it is, you know where your sun is. That's what that means, your sun sign. Whatever you identify as, oh, I'm a Sagittarius, that means your sun was in Sagittarius at the time of your birth, okay? And so the sun moves around the entire zodiac in 1 year, right? Okay, that's like, this time is Aquarius, this time is, right? Okay, so I'm not talking about anything strange. You actually know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? And so, because most people at least know that there's a time to be an Aquarius, and then if you were born in January, you're probably a Capricorn, right? So most people know that. You may not know the dates, but you know that there's an entire zodiac, okay? And that's what I'm talking about, and that's where the sun lies for you. And if you happen to be an Aquarius, I'm just going to say it's going to be a big 20 years for you, okay? And it's going to be a slow process. And what I'm going to say is that I feel like the sun and Pluto in some ways are opposite, because Pluto is about the end. It's about death, not just physical death, but like the end to things or major transformation. So like an end to a relationship, an end to a job, an end to a big chapter in your life. Whatever those things are, Pluto also tends to represent power and control. And life force is not necessarily about power and control, okay? Your life force, your sun, is about living your life, right? And that's not really done by power and control, by the way. In case you haven't noticed, you can't always control what happens in your life, in case you didn't notice, okay? And Pluto's kind of the opposite of that, okay? Pluto is about power, control, and interestingly, both of them are at the same degree, and this will happen every year for the next 20 years. The sun will come around and be in Aquarius with Pluto at some degree, okay? Every year it will come around, and this will just happen over again, and each time it will be a different chapter, okay? And so this chapter is just beginning. And this is the chapter of the collective, because the collective is being called forward. Aquarius is about the collective. It's about all of us. It's about you. It's about me. It's about Bright Hawk. It's about all of us together. Okay. And so all of us together make the collective. And that's what Aquarius is about. Aquarius is about remembering that we're all one. Aquarius is about equality. It's about remembering the connection of the two, okay? Like the connection of you and the collective, and how that connection is really important, okay? And Aquarius also tends to rule things like AI, medicine, and big new perspectives or changes, especially sudden changes and big surprises. And with the sun there, personally, in our personal lives, Pluto and the sun are speaking to us. And I think regardless of what sign you have, you're probably having some sort of wake-up call, some sort of change in your perspective, where before you were looking this way and now you're looking this way. Okay. And you may not have all the answers to your problems. You may not, it could be difficult. It could be because of a problem. It could be because of something that happened. It could be because my browser keeps making my thumbs up go over Bright Hawk's head. I don't know, okay? Whatever it is, okay, it happens, okay? And so it could be good things. It could be something really good happens to you, and that changes your perspective, okay? Whatever it is, it's probably intense. So, do you have anything you want to say about that Sun Pluto conjunction, or?
Well, it's Pluto. Just remember Pluto as the underworld, the hidden, the deep. That's the kind of transformation we're talking about. So at 0 degrees Aquarius, everything Hollis just said about Aquarius is just amplified. Now, Aquarius, the ruler of Aquarius, of course, is Uranus. And the bringer of surprises a minute, right? Just like, God, didn't see that coming. That's Uranus, right? So this chart in particular is kind of interesting because in addition to, so we have, you'll see 2 different clusters on the chart. One is the stellium in Aquarius that we've been talking about. Well, actually, it's not quite because Mercury hasn't stepped over yet. Mercury is still in Capricorn. And then, of course, at the top of the chart, you have the North Node, Neptune, Venus, and Saturn. Wow. So Pisces are feeling it big time. They've been feeling it for a while. Saturn is not exactly quiet when it's rocking through Pisces. And of course, Venus in Pisces is exalted. We talked about that a lot last week. So you have this beautiful sextile actually between these two. What is a sextile? Well, trines are considered the easiest, most blessed aspect in the chart, and sextiles are the next one. But you have to do some work for it. You have to have the conversation, do the action, do the work, whatever it is, make the decision. The other thing about this chart, and this is going to keep up almost all week, is that we have a grand trine, which means each of the points in the triangle are all in the same element. And in this case, it's the earth element, which means we have Uranus in Taurus, we have Mercury in Virgo, and we have the south node in Virgo and Mercury in Capricorn, the earth signs.
But it's not quite a grand trine yet because Mercury is
at
18.
It'll get close. I don't know if it'll perfect exactly, but you'll see this configuration throughout the week of this, the days of this chart, the days of the week in this chart. So I find that to be kind of interesting. The other thing that's been really intense has been Mars, but now Mars is in a trine to Neptune, which can be floaty and dreamy, and the North Node. So North Node is our destiny. So we might be wanting to dream new dreams about our future and what we want or what we're willing to do about it, what we're not willing to do anymore, what we're excited about, what we've tolerated and we're not tolerating it anymore. What is that dream for you?
Yeah, making movement towards those things that we've learned in Mars retrograde.
Right, because remember, retrograde
most of this winter.
Right, Mars in retrograde means we got to review. We got to do all the words, right? Because that's what retrogrades are about. Is it are things going the way they should be going?
Right. Yeah. So since Mars is reviewing and it's in a trine to Neptune, we could have some ideas. Maybe we're not there yet. Maybe we're not quite there, but we're headed there, or we have some ideas of how to get there. Mm-hmm. And I would say that the Sun and Pluto sextile the North Node, and eventually Neptune. Well, I guess not before the Sun moves, but you know, the Sun is definitely sextiling the North Node. As much as we don't like what we might see right now, this is where we're supposed to be.
Right.
And sometimes Pluto often reminds me that as humans, we probably won't change unless shit sucks. And that's just kind of like the human condition or something. The monks haven't talked about it too much, except that they say that suffering will, that you can either accept suffering or make changes. They tell you to just accept that stuff sucks. And when you don't accept it, that's suffering, that you create your own suffering. That's why they say that. But in my more modern Buddhist witchy perspective, I'm not sure my perspective has a name. It's somewhere between Buddhism, witchy, and eclectic. I don't know. Astrological, is that, like, sometimes things have to be torn down in order to build something beautiful. And the process of tearing things down can be stressful. That's what I would say. And I think right now we're okay. And I think this is a reassurance that we're on the right track. As many of us might feel that we are not on the right track, I think we actually are. Okay. And Brandy, I do not know way too much. I'm just a nerd. Um it was Bianca yesterday. It was, and then I got sick, so you can rewind it and listen to the beginning, and I try to explain what happened. Hi, Elaine.
We would have much rather been here than the hospital.
Yeah,
but, you got to deal with what you got to deal with.
Yeah.
So thanks for being understanding.
Definitely a frustrating moment.
Yeah.
So
I want to just talk about the moon for a second, because the moon is in a T-square actually, and it's opposite Chiron. Now, Chiron, if you don't remember, is the wounded healer, right? So it's always teaching us about where do we need to heal, how do we need to heal, and if we've succeeded in our healing journey, that medicine is what we're supposed to offer the world. That's we don't suffer for nothing, right? So whatever golden message, lessons learned kind of thing, when you pass that on, that's kind of Chiron energy. So the moon, of course, is shedding, it's shrinking, it's letting go. When the moon is literally waning, that's the letting go phase, right? What do we need to do before it comes into the new moon? What do we need to finish off, put to rest, be done with, whatever it is, whatever intentions you might have set at the new moon. So this other thing that I want to point out about the moon. So when the moon is in Libra, we remember Libra, of course, is all about the scales of justice. It's about balance and beauty. It's ruled by Venus. So the moon is going to be answering to Venus. And now the interesting thing is that the moon is in what's called a yod, or a finger of God, which is, we call, very fated energy. It means that it's destined. Stuff is going to happen around it. You have no real choice. I like to point them out because the choice is get on board instead of get run over, right? So this yod that happened last night is, again, Venus and Uranus. So again, we're having a conversation with what needs to change, because Uranus is all about change, Venus all about our values and relationships. And here we have the moon answering to Venus in Libra, which is what's right, what's fair, what's good, what's desirable, that kind of thing.
Great. And the moon's going to move, right? So, we're still in this Mars retrograde pattern that we've been talking about for weeks now. And as we get into Tuesday, the moon does move into Scorpio. So we have a little bit of a void moon there, but not for long. Huh?
We have a pretty substantial void moon on the 21st. And I believe we also have a similar void moon on Friday.
Oh, okay.
So void all day. Remember, when we talk about void moons, it's the transition period. The moon changes signs every 2.5 days. And as we know, a Capricorn is a very different person than an Aquarius. In this case, Libra, we're going to go from Libra to Scorpio. Those are very different energies. Libra they're very different energies. So all I want to emphasize there is that the void is what that time is in between. So it's not a good time. It means the emotional energy of the moon is gone. There is no dramatic energy, which can be a really good thing. That's why I try to tell you about these. It can be a really powerful opportunity to go, oh gosh, I could have a conversation with that person that I normally don't like talking to because they're so full of drama. And now I can just get this conversation done and not even have to worry about it because there's no drama energy. So if you know this, you can really use it to your benefit. The thing you don't want to do in void moons is initiate, start stuff, try to make forward action. Voids are an opportunity to take a break. Be good to yourself. What do you need to feel good? What helps you get grounded and centered and feel really like, okay, I can take on the next thing. But first, I'm going to take this moment for myself. That's what you want to do during a void moon.
Yeah, and I feel like with the Venus in a trine to Mars this week, I think it's probably there most of the week, right? And I just feel like that's going to be a positive thing towards money or relationships. So if you're trying to take some sort of action or you're reviewing something that had to do with money or something you have to do differently to change the way money is in your world, it could actually be good, at least for the next week or so, until Venus enters a shadow period before it goes retrograde. But I feel like this week it's probably still in the clear.
Yeah. With Venus, Neptune, and Saturn all sandwiched there together, it's a lot. So what do we mean by that? Well, Saturn tends to be constriction. It's cold. It's the ruler of Capricorn. So Saturn in Pisces, it rules an earth sign and it's in water. It's not really thrilled about that, but it is what it is. Saturn is authority, structure, the institutions, all of that kind of thing. Next to Venus. Venus is all about love and relationships and what's desirable. So careful about not overspending and doing things like that. Then Neptune enters the conversation about dreams and visions, and next to the North Node, which is all about your destiny, your future, your, direction in life. So that is a lot right there, isn't it? And then we put it in Pisces. And what is Pisces? I call Pisces the ocean of emotion. Ocean of emotion. It means we're all one. We're all swimming in this world together. We're all feeling each other's feelings. They're super intuitive. They're super watery. And so you get the idea. And Neptune, of course, there is in its rulership. Neptune rules Pisces, right? Makes sense. God of the sea, Pisces. So, yeah, and it's not going to be there much longer. Things are about to change. Neptune is eventually going to hop over. It's been there for a really, really long time. And of course, Venus in the near future goes retrograde. So this packed house of Pisces and the packed vibe there of Aquarius, we send you our love.
I feel like it's going to be a pretty good week.
Yeah.
A little bit of intensity Monday, Tuesday.
But the nice part of Tuesday is that intensity is totally mitigated by the void.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Wednesday, hopefully you'll be able to figure out whatever it is that maybe intensified on Monday for you, or what's been going on for you, especially with Mars being retrograde for a while. And as we head into more like Wednesday, the moon's still in Scorpio. I see Mars is still in that trine with the stuff in Pisces. So I feel like that's about taking action to make money maybe easier for you or relationships, some sort of action that has to do maybe either with learning or with like addressing your home, or making some sort of choice. Maybe you're figuring out how to save money on your bills or something. There could be some sort of financial thing that's actually good for this week. So I feel like that's definitely going on this week.
Yeah, definite home vibes with Mars and Cancer.
Yeah, and that Pluto, and then, Pluto, the sun's going to move away from Pluto so it can continue our story, right? Because it just started the chapter this Monday, okay? And it's no coincidence that it was the inauguration. It's no coincidence that, that Trump had it indoors with all of the big CEOs of huge tech companies like Google and Amazon and Meta, and that's that's the story. And the universe is speaking to the people, and some of the people have heard. If you didn't know, there was a protest going on at the time. Check Democracy Now. But outside of that, you know there's there's um there's people waking up and people asking, what can I do, what is my role in this, and maybe also getting a new perspective about things. Maybe they didn't realize that Trump would side with some of the biggest, richest people in the world, the richest man in the world, the richest man. And that's who he's working with, and that's what influence is in power now. And I think that that's an important thing to notice, because Pluto does rule power and control, and we must acknowledge that power and control is that. And I think a lot of people, some of us have already said hell no, and some people are saying, wait a minute, that's, I wasn't aware of that. And some people are going to become awakened to it because they'll probably lose something or somehow it will affect their life. So I think this is just the beginning of the story, and it's going to require the people, because that's Aquarius, right? The people to stand up and do the right thing, to stand up for themselves. And I think it's interesting because Ann Ortley said this way back before she ever got sick or whatever. Ann Ortley is a famous astrologer, and she was talking about the presidential election, and she kind of said, what's going to happen next? And this is before Trump even won the election. I think this is even before Kamala was running. She said, we are going to move into a time where the people must stand up. And that's what's about to happen. And I think she's right. And I think we have begun the story. And she's a famous, well-known astrologer, and she's pretty darn accurate in my experience. Every time I listen to her before she got sick, I'd be like, wow, that's what she said was going to happen. And that's what happened. So she's really skilled with lots of experience. So anyway, so this week, that new chapter is going to begin. I do see that we have
2 grand trines.
Yeah, 2 grand trines, which
one in water
almost makes the Star of David.
Yeah, it almost makes the Star of David. So the grand trine in water is Mars and Neptune in the North Node, really, and the moon. So the moon is in Scorpio, of course, and the moon in Scorpio is very psychic. Great day for readings, super intuitive, insightful, very insightful. That's what I want to say about.
Yeah,
you know all about it, don't you, Hollis?
Yeah, only because I'm Scorpio rising. So like the fact is that this is 2 grand trines. By Thursday, we're going to be feeling really good. Things are going to be feeling great. We're going to be making movement towards things. We may have found a solution for some things. Some things have come together intuitively, sort of almost magically. And we're just like, wow, okay, great that's happening. Wow, this is good. I needed this. Okay, so for whatever is going on in your life, there could be some great blessings coming on later this week. I really think it's a good thing. Money, relationships, whatever's been going on with you. And Mars is going to try to help you find solutions before it goes direct in the end of February. So it's working you towards solutions to your issues, whatever you've been struggling with, because it will depend on where Cancer is in your chart, where Pisces is in your chart, where is Aquarius, what house is it ruling, and are there any planets there? And this is kind of how we look at things. And this is why an astrology reading is different, right? Okay, so what I'm telling you is that these transits, these what's happening in the sky right now are transiting your chart, So some people are like, oh, well, I got my astrology chart reading when I was 22. And I'm like, so you think nothing has happened since then? Okay. So the funny thing is about astrology is that it changes every day. I look at my astrology on a day-to-day basis. I want to know where are things, and in fact, that was one of my clues as to what was going on with my wellness, because I noticed that the Pluto and the Sun were in a square to my Scorpio rising, and Scorpio rules sex parts, which is hormones, and Uranus is also there on my ascendant, and they were in a square Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and that's pretty much what was happening. They were in a total square, and I was like, huh, the interesting, Sun and Pluto are in a square. I don't think I'm supposed to die. What's actually happening? And I got it, because I was like, it's your hormones. That's what's making your heart skip around. It's your hormones. And I didn't realize that till this morning. So that tells you a little bit about the conjunction and how it comes together, and it changes your perspective, right? I thought it was the surgery I had, but then it was like, and I was like, no, it's your hormones. And it was because I was looking at my astrology. Okay. And I'm a medical astrologer, so I have background in that. So I was just okay. So I'm just saying, your astrology changes every day, and there's always messages to find in it. There's always things. The universe is always trying to aim you in the right direction. Okay. So I think Thursday is actually a really great day, and probably Friday too is going to be a pretty good day.
Did you take Friday out?
Nope. Saturday. That's Saturday. I didn't go through them. So this is Saturday, actually. So Thursday and Friday are probably pretty good days, and even Saturday. The thing is, though, is that Saturday, there's a square to everything in Pisces, to the moon in Sag.
Well, I'm sorry.
kind of
I don't know what
squaring
happened to
numerous things.
Friday's chart, but I'm pretty sure it's Friday the 24th.
Uh-huh.
I know I filled this out, so I'm like, where'd the slide go? Because Friday is much like, was it Tuesday the 21st?
Okay.
Yeah, that's today. Is this massive void, like a 12-hour void moon?
Okay.
Right. So I just want to say, if you're interested in the void moon, just put void moon calendar in your browser, and you'll find a schedule of how this happens every several days. And the one that I use, you can put in your location, so it'll give it to you in your time frame. So of course, every time I look at this stuff, it's in Mountain Time, because we're in Colorado, right? So I don't know what happened to Friday's chart, but here we are, Saturday, and the thing that is important about Saturday is that now the sun, and so the intensity of this, the sun meeting Pluto, and the intensity of that Cassini now switches to the intensity of, and this is considered incredibly lucky and fortunate, with the sun trine Jupiter. So Jupiter is still retrograde, so it doesn't have exactly the same level of oomph that it normally would. Jupiter, what is Jupiter? Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and it makes all things lucky, bigger. It's, amplifies life. Jupiter's big. And thank goodness for Jupiter. Jupiter protects the Earth from a lot of what would be flying at us from the outer space. Jupiter kind of intercepts a lot of that for us. So Jupiter is going to be retrograde for another, I think it's another month or two. And Venus is just for another, Venus will go retrograde in like a few more weeks, I think. Um, we'll let you know. I think it's next month, is what I want to say. And it's been retrograde for a really long time. You know, these are big planets, they move slowly. So things will be, it's a very positive aspect. People love to see the sun trine Jupiter. It's usually a very lovely thing. And Jupiter, of course, is in Gemini, which can be very social, networking. Gemini is an air sign. It's very good at thinking and looking around and going, oh, you should meet this person, and you have this conversation, and just a really flowy energy. And of course, Jupiter retrograde in Gemini means that it's opposite its rulership in Sagittarius. Gemini, the axis across the sky, is Sagittarius. And so, of course, when you have that, Gemini means that it's in detriment. It's not strong. So while the sun trine Jupiter is always a wonderful thing, you just don't have a very strong Jupiter in this particular moment.
Great. And then with the moon squaring Pisces, though, you know what I think it's going to be? It's going to be some healing, because the moon is also, while the moon is in a square to that stuff in Pisces, I think we're going to experience some important healing this weekend. So something's going to come to resolve. The moon is in a trine to Chiron, and I feel like that's addressing some wounds or something. And you might feel free, you might feel complete with something, or just you might find a solution to something. And I think that's a lot of what's going on there. And Jupiter, it may not be a big gift, but it can kind of be its own little gift in its own way, especially if you live a life of gratitude. So I think Saturday and Sunday are actually really great days. You'll probably experience some healing, and you'll probably experience a lot of connection, and because of that Venus. So it's either going to be about money or connection for you, connection meaning relationships with others. And so don't be surprised if those kinds of things come up for you, and just be aware that this is what's going on for you. And I think this week overall is actually a pretty good week. It's actually a really good week.
Yeah.
And already seeing some states standing up. Yeah, exactly, Samantha. There's already people standing up. There's already people that have already heard the call. It always happens, actually, interestingly. A lot of times that's in your astrology chart. Did you know that? So like some people hear things sooner than others. Some people and those people that hear it sooner doesn't mean they're smarter or better. It just means that they usually have to be patient and wait while everyone else figures it out, right? Okay. And I think that's the challenge of being ahead, because I'm definitely one of those people that tends to be a little bit ahead of everyone else, and that's not always easy. Let me say that. I sometimes find myself waiting and sometimes getting frustrated by that. So I would say that, to just be aware that everybody kind of is on their own journey, and it's kind of like click, 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 and eventually everyone gets there, right? Or most of us do. And I think that's the power of things.
It's the power of astrology. We get that, when we start to understand the zodiac, we understand there's elements, right? Water, air, earth, fire. Well, there's also, is it cardinal? The initiating signs of the seasons. Is it fixed or is it mutable? And I think that speaks so dramatically to how people go about their lives. Is your sun sign in a cardinal? So the cardinals are the season beginners. like Capricorn. Obviously, we start with the Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, Virgo, and then Capricorn, right? Go around. And so those are the cardinal signs. These are often people who are great at initiating, seeing, you know what you should do, and that kind of vibe, right? Then there's the fixed signs, which tend to be really solid, stable individuals, loyal. And who are they? I always want to start with Taurus, but Aquarius would be the first one, then Taurus,
And Scorpio.
then Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, okay. And then mutable, right? So these are the people who are, sure, I can change. Yeah, no, it's good. No, whatever. Yeah, very mutable, right? The mutable people are.
And Leo. Sorry, that's the other fixed sign.
Thank you, Leo. So mutables, I'm going to start with Virgo, Sag, not Virgo. Did I have that right?
Mutable. Virgo.
Sag, Pisces, and
Cancers.
Gemini.
Yeah.
Gemini. Right. So the season enders, right? So this is a really easy way to understand what I would call fast processors. So the fire signs and the cardinal signs are going to tend to be in the fast processors. They're going to get stuff like this.
They're going to probably do it faster.
And the fixed folks
isn't always better.
Going to take what they're going to take, and then once they decide, get out of their way. Once they decide, man, those guys that it's done. It's just done.
Get out of their way.
And then the mutables, one day the answer might be here, and then the next week, I talk to so-and-so, I've changed my mind completely. So this speaks to all of us one way or another. And this is
because we all have a little Virgo. We all have a little Leo. We all have a little Aries. So the important part is when you're looking at your chart is to look and see where your sun is. And then also take a look at where your rising is, particularly if you have your time of birth correct. If you're pretty sure your time of birth is right.
Very helpful.
Look over here on the left-hand side. You can kind of see it there, right? Okay. Right now it's pointing at Aries, and I'm about to go through and I'm going to do this week's forecast for you based on your sun sign, your rising sign, or your moon sign. So these are signs all of us can find very easily in our astrology chart. Anyone can do it. Get your free astrology chart at astro.com and then take a look. You know where your sun sign is, right? And then you want to look and see where's the rising sign. So the sun looks like this circle with a dot in it usually. The rising sign is always on the left-hand side, or it might say AS, ascendant, okay? And then the moon sign, guess what it looks like? The moon, okay, right here. And you can see here the moon is in Scorpio where we're starting. This is actually Wednesday. So this chart is set for Wednesday. But I'm going to address the whole, most of the week's sort of vibration and transformation for each of us, okay? So what I want to say first about Aries. So this is for Aries sun, moon, and rising. This is for Aries sun, moon, and rising. So for Aries, I want to say to you that at the beginning of the week, you're really going to get that vibration. There's going to be some new people in your life. Are you connecting? Are you making connections? Is there some sort of hero within you that's coming out? Aries tends to be a little bit of a hero, and that you're going to be meeting people, and this is beginning the next chapter of your life. Okay, so I feel like Aries is going to be meeting important people that are in your life. Whatever they are, they're starting. You're going to be doing some sort of work with them or some sort of activity with them. And, you may not be aware of the blessings that are coming your way right now, but I assure you they are happening. And while you've been struggling a little bit, maybe with romance, maybe with creativity or manifesting things, or maybe your home life, like your family of origin or something, just be aware that as we go forward in this week, you are going to be getting some gifts, and it's very important those people that you meet at the beginning of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, even into Wednesday, those Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that they're going to be very important part of your future as you go forward. They're a very important part, and there's lots of blessings coming through. You may not even be aware of how big those blessings are, but they are coming your way. They are happening, and just be aware that whatever's been going on with your relationship or creativity or whatever will pass by the end of February, okay? So I just want to say that. And that's for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And now, as we move on to Taurus. Taurus, I want to say my Taurus Sun, Moon, and Rising. So if you have a Taurus Sun, Moon, or Rising, what I want to say is that something's going on in your career. Something has happened with the work you put in the world. There has been a major connection with the work you put in the world. Pay attention to that work that you're doing in the world. It is important. It will have something to do with the collective, maybe, or maybe it's you've gotten together with a group, or something's going on with your work in the world, and that's what's important here. That will happen early in the week, and then later in the week as things go on and things, you will begin to find resolutions to that issue that you've been struggling with in reference to your home or your family of origin. Okay, so whatever in reference to that has been going on for the last few months this winter, that's going to find resolve. You're going to start finding some answers to that, and you're going to be able to start recognizing exactly what gifts are coming to you. They'll start coming to you later on this week. You will have a few gifts, Taurus. They are on their way to you. I promise it is coming your way. So that's Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Something in your career, major changes in your career, major new perspective, new awareness of something. Something has happened in your career. Now, for Gemini, now, I want you to be aware of your spiritual awakenings that's happening this week, especially earlier in the week. You could really have some real, like, wow moments, some feelings of empowerment, some feelings that are very important to you, sort of like, wow, like I'm really doing this, like some sort of empowerment that could come to you. And be aware of that spiritual call and stay connected to the spiritual side of it so it doesn't take a hold of your ego. Take hold of the part of you, the spiritual side of you, the spiritual side, the call to what is right for the world, what is right for the community, okay? And those struggles you've been having with community and stuff, you'll start to be able to find resolve to some of those, or think you have the answers to those in later on in the week, okay? So later on in the week, that's for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, okay? So if you know your Sun, Moon, and Rising is, listen for all three of them and then put the three of them together, and that will pretty much encompass your situation, okay? And so for Gemini, you're really going to have that spiritual awakening in your gut, especially in the beginning of the week. It's going to be like wham, and then later in the week you'll start to find some resolve for things, and you'll be able to really start to find some answers to things, especially in relation to communication and your community, okay? And that's for Gemini. And as we go forward, for Cancer, this is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So Cancer, this is really going to be the aha moment in your shadow, okay? This is, when I say your shadow, I mean the part of you that is back there that maybe you've been like, I don't want to pay attention to that. The piece you don't want to talk about, the piece that's uncomfortable. You know what I'm talking about, okay? It could also be about like death. It could be other topics that you don't really want to talk about, okay? Especially death, okay? If you've been sad, if you've been depressed or whatever, Cancer, especially with Mars going retrograde in your sign, hasn't exactly been an easy ride for you, has it? And so, and with money and everything else, you've had some struggles these last few months and you're really feeling it. But there's going to be a moment of realization, a moment of awakening earlier in the week that maybe some sort of different perspective could come to mind. Maybe you're listening to me now and maybe you'll recognize what Brighthawk said a little earlier, which is that we don't suffer for nothing. When we're suffering, those things have meaning later. Okay. So that's important. That's an important thing to always remember. Okay. So Cancer, I hear you. I know you've been struggling and you got this. And I'm just reassuring you that aha moment, that moment that you hear earlier in the week, listen to that. It's true. And if you feel a little empowered or like you might actually be able to get through this, or there might actually be an answer to this, you're right. Okay. I'm not saying your troubles are over. I'm just saying that there'll be some resolve. And as the week goes on, those problems will resolve more and more, particularly related to money. Okay. Particularly in relation to money and your work in the world. So I wouldn't be surprised if some great things come through in that regard, especially in money. Okay. So, next up is Leo. Leo, this is Leo sun, moon, and rising. So if you have a Leo sun, moon, and rising, that means that it's really going to be about relationships for you. You're going to really have this aha moment or this awareness or new perspective on relationships. Maybe some new people will come into your life. Maybe there's a new chapter. Maybe there's something about power and control in your relationships that you become aware of. Maybe you become aware of how you've been under control or how you've been controlling someone else, or trying to anyway. And so with that Pluto and Sun in the seventh house, which is very much about like relationships and the people we know, not just love relationships, all relationships. So work relationships and anyone else you might be fairly close to. Okay. Especially the people that you spend a lot of time with. Okay. And very much so, I want you to recognize that, Mars is going retrograde. And while you can't see the solution now, the solution is coming your way. There are solutions headed your way. Things will happen. I know you can't see it right now, but it will happen. Okay. So just be aware that aha moment about relationships in the beginning of the week is accurate. It's accurate. Okay. And just listen to it. A new perspective. You have a new perspective about your life or about how things are going, then go ahead and grab hold of that. Okay. And so that's for Leo sun, moon, and rising. Oh, good. It only did by the minute. Okay. And so now we're going to look at Virgo. This is for Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. Okay. So for those Virgos out there, I'm just going to say, whew, this probably has something to do with your day-to-day life. Okay. This probably has something to do with what's happening day to day or your work in the world, but also maybe in relation to how your day functions. There's going to be a new perspective or a new thing that comes up for the Virgos out there. Virgos are going to recognize that this change is happening. So just go with it. It's actually probably a good thing. It could also be in relation to your health. So if you're having some health things or something, and I'm just thinking of myself right now going, I'm a Virgo. Okay. If you're having some health things right now, you'll probably find the solution by Wednesday at the latest. But really, honestly, I know you can't make this up. And so the sixth house is very much about day-to-day life and health. And so for Virgos, it might be just like a wellness thing or something else that's going on in your life that you become aware of, okay? That you become aware of with a new perspective, a sort of like, yaha, okay? Maybe something that has to do with medicine or anything like that, okay? And, the rest of the problems that you've been dealing with about power and control and the people in your life and work and work in the world and money and relationships, all of that, you're going to start finding resolve this week, okay, Virgo? Virgo, you're going to find the resolve this week. The resolve will be happening, okay? So, that's for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Next up is Libra. So this is for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So if you have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, listen to this. It's particularly helpful. So this is very much about you and your creativity, and maybe creativity at home, okay? And romance at home in regards to your home life. This Libra, there's some sort of opening, some sort of thing that has come to regards this week, some sort of creativity that's coming to you, or awareness that's happened at home, or maybe in regards to your family of origin. And so in regards to that, it's really going to affect who you are. It's really going to affect Libra. It's really going to affect how you live your life right now. Like, it's going to be a big change for you in the beginning of the week. This awareness of something that's been going on. Maybe it has something to do with power and control and romance or relationships at home, including your family of origin. And as you become aware of it, I just want you to figure out what you have to do. I will say that the solution is there, and money will be coming into work. It is going to get better. You are figuring things out. You are on the right track. I assure you, you are figuring it out. It just takes a little while to work it out because Mars is still in retrograde up in your house of career. And so there might be some things that still need to resolve there, but I think that you'll figure it out. Listen to your intuition. Okay, Libra, always listen to your intuition. So now we're going to move on to Scorpio. So this is for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is very much about your community and communication. So Scorpio, if you're feeling stuff about your community and who's in your community and what community you're part of, and anything that has to do with communication in that regards, maybe there's a new perspective on that. Alexa, in fact, I would even recognize that. Even myself, I was just reading something last night about community. And so that's it, and it really sort of was like a new perspective, okay? And it was profound in the moment, right? Like, it was like in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep, so I read, and it's pretty much profound. It's about living in community and how do we come as a collective, and that's going to be really strong for you, especially with the Sun and Pluto in Aquarius in the house of community for you. That's a big deal, Scorpio, okay? And with Mars going retrograde up in the house of spirituality, maybe there's a spiritual calling for you in community. Maybe there's something you have to do, something you have to listen to, something you have to respond to. And just remember to follow through on that, and money and creativity will bring you money right now, Scorpio. So Scorpio, pay attention to that, especially in the beginning of the week, that awareness about community and whatever kind of awakening that you have. And that's for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay. And now, as we move on to Sagittarius, my Sagittarian friends, this is really about money for you, right? You're having an awareness about money. You're having an awareness about your values and money in particular. And with also in regards to money around your family of origin and how does that relate to your money now, and maybe there's an inheritance right off. So Sagittarius, with the sun and Pluto conjunct there in the second house, that's really very much about money. So you're probably having some awakenings or some awarenesses, and as we go forward, just know, and Mars is still retrograde in the 8th house, that's like other people's money. So I wouldn't be surprised if definitely Sagittarius is definitely dealing with a money thing this week. Okay. I'm just like, this has gotta have something to do with money, and maybe your parents' money or something like that. So just hang in there. Know that you're headed in the right direction. Things will get resolved. They could be a little slow going right now. It could feel like you're like, oh my God, when will the okay? And so just don't worry, it will happen. Patience, not exactly Sagittarius's best trait, but Sagittarius can absolutely do that. Yeah, well, Sagittarius are not always incredibly patient. They're centaurs. They should happen on their time, their clock. Hello, right? Okay, so Sagittarius friends. Hey, I love Sagittariuses. I really do. I have lots of Sages in my life. Love Sages, and um, the thing is that you're really going to experience some good stuff this week. Okay, good stuff coming together. Things are going to start to come together. Have some hope. That's what I'm hoping to offer you. And really pay attention to those awarenesses in the beginning of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, in regards to money. Pay attention to that, listen to that, and just see, stay open to whatever kind of aha or awareness that you may have had. Okay, so Sagittarius and Capricorn. So now this is Capricorn. That's this week. That's like today, Capricorn. What I want to say to you is that it's very much going to be about your identity. It's going to be about it. It's going to be about who are you, Capricorn? Who are you? Is this really who you are? You might be finding yourself asking those questions, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You're asking yourself, is this who I really am? Is this who I'm supposed to be? What direction am I supposed to go in? How am I supposed to help the collective struggling right now? What is my role in the collective? If you find yourself asking that question, you are not alone. Capricorn, you are asking yourself that question because the universe is speaking to you. It's speaking to you directly because Capricorns, we need you. We need your organization. We need you good at doing the books to help us with some nonprofits. We need you to step up. We need you to help us with the collective. The collective needs you, Capricorn. Don't forget that. I know that you're very grounded and you're very good at taking care of the business and doing things like that. Help the collective. If you're feeling called to that, don't be surprised with the Sun and Pluto conjunct in your first house. It's really about your identity and where you're headed with that. And there's going to be some huge blessings about money coming their way towards you. Capricorn, money is coming its way towards you. It is on its way. And it's happening. If it hasn't already happened, it will be happening, especially in those grand trines at the end of the week. Some sort of action is going to make money happen. Okay. It's just going to boom, and it's going to happen for you, and you're going to start recognizing that things are changing, that things are getting better, and that we are getting somewhere. So that's really important for Capricorn. I just want to say, Capricorn, lots of hope for you as you approach this huge change for you, huge change for you, Capricorn, because you've just been through a lot, haven't you? Pluto just left your sign and you're like, oh my God, it's finally over. Okay. So I'm just saying it is finally over. And now as Pluto enters into Aquarius, oh, my Aquarius friends, Pluto has entered your sign in 2024. And just at the end of 2024, it has entered it essentially for the next 20 years. You are starting a new chapter in your life. This is new changes, new parts of your life, your identity, and everything about you is changing. I mean, everything. Okay. So if you're having some awakenings, if life is changing, especially early in the week, if you have some intensity, it's okay. Hang on. The universe is pushing you in the proper direction. We need you. We need the Aquarians in the world. We need you to help bring us together. We need you for that. And Aquarians, you serve a huge role in the world. Your role of bringing us together as one human race is that's your role and we need you. So listen to that. There's something calling you forward early in the week. I know you can hear it. It's right on your ascendant and I know you can feel it. Aquarius, this is for Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. And money's happening for you, lots of blessings happening in your life. You might be reviewing how you're doing work and maybe changing your approach a little bit, but it'll get better. You'll find the solutions at the end of the week during those grand trines. You'll get some great blessings and lots of good things coming for you this week. But with that Sun and Pluto at the beginning of the week, you might have a little like, but it's okay. Hang in there, Aquarius. It could be uncomfortable. It depends on where your sun is. It depends on if you have anything else there. And for Aquarius, it could be kind of intense with Pluto there. Like it could be a little much. Okay, but I assure you that you will find the answer, Aquarius. You will find the answer. It will come to you. Especially by the end of the week. Great things will be happening to you. This is a new life, new chapter. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. I don't say that all the time. I'm saying this week begins a new chapter. This is like reading chapter 1 in a book. Like you read the introduction. That's been 2024. You read the introduction, right? Okay. You read the introduction. And now this is a new chapter. Chapter 1. That begins Monday, Tuesday. Pay attention to what that is. That's your theme for the year. Okay. And as we go on to Pisces, this is for Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. What I want to say for you is that you may not even know what I'm talking about. You're currently going, Hollis, what are you talking about? I haven't had any awakenings. What are you talking about? Or you're suddenly involved in institutions like nursing homes and schools or hospitals. So something is going on in that area, or you just think I'm crazy. You're like, Hollis, usually you're on point, but I don't know. Okay. And it's because the sun and Pluto in your 12th house. It's hard for you to see. But at some point, probably Wednesday, someone will say, hey, I noticed you changed. That looks really good on you. Or I noticed you joined such and such. Okay. Or they're going to notice a change about you and you're going to be like, oh, or you're suddenly going to start listening to your intuition. Something's going to happen, and suddenly you start to listen to your intuition, or your psychic awareness is awakened, and suddenly you're like, oh my God, I have visions of the future. What do I do with this? Okay. So, whatever's happening, I just want to say, Pisces, it's the 12th house. It's the house of the unseen. It's house of, you could even have some unseen enemies. Maybe you watch them fall. I don't know, Pisces, just saying. But with the sun and Pluto conjunct like that in the 12th house, it's probably going to be something you don't recognize right away. But then once you really think about what I'm saying, you're like, now I see it. And with everything that's been going on around work and love and relationships and creativity and all of that kind of stuff, you're going to find some resolve later this week. Okay. You're going to find some answers. The money and the relationships that have been happening have really been affecting your identity. and how you feel about yourself. So, you're starting to feel, actually, you're probably feeling pretty good about yourself right about now. You're feeling kind of like, hey, I'm not so bad. I took care of some things, because Pisces Venus is in Pisces right now in your house of identity. So it could actually be helping you realize that you're actually of great value, Pisces. We need you too. Okay. We need you. We're glad you're here, and I'm glad that you're listening today. So I just want to say that Pisces, that's for Pisces sun, moon, and rising. Okay, Pisces? So hopefully those little horoscopes help you with your week. I hope.
And I just want to say, because we try to educate, not speaking gibberish that you don't understand. If you're not familiar, your sun represents your personality, your forward facing shine to the world, right? Your rising is what we tend to grow into. So the older we are, the more influence and the more we see our rising reflected. And then your moon is all about your emotions, that internal, personal, how I really feel, which for some people can be kind of hidden. But moon is all about the emotions. So that's why, and they're always called the big three in astrology. When people kind of start an astrological conversation, a lot of times they're, what are your big three? So that's the answer.
Exactly. So, Tamara said hi. Hi, Tamara, and hi, Karen. And thank you very much. Messages from Spirit. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not sure exactly what this was in relation to, Lynette. But Barbara said, my Sag friend constantly talking about money. Something's going on for them about money right now. They'll get through it. Welcome, Terry. I'm glad you joined us. You can always rewind when I'm done. You can always rewind and watch and find your sign. We do a general talk about the astrology for the week. And then I go through each sign and tell you what it's going to be like for your sign or signs. Actually, what Bright Hawk just talked about with the big three. Okay. So thanks, Barbara. That was right on for Barbara being a Capricorn right now. Flowers, I probably did already do Cancer. It's actually more in the beginning, so you could just rewind and watch it. Okay. And I thought this was a good question. Does it affect you differently if you're Aquarius, if you're rising or moon sign, and not your sun sign? Yeah, it will. So what I notice when I read horoscopes is, so I'm a Virgo sun. Okay. So Virgo will be like my outside life, like my work or but at the same time,
public face.
Yeah, sort of my public life. And that's the sun. But I will say that my sun is also in a very public house. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's in the most public house it can be. It's actually in the 11th house. So almost public. So it's very public. It usually has very public things. Now, when I listen to my rising, which is Scorpio, it's usually very much what's going on for me. Okay. So rising is who you are, what you're identifying with, what's happening right now, where you're going, what your life's meaning, and all of those kinds of things. Rising is actually very important. Knowing what time you were born is incredibly important. Okay. So don't ever underestimate the power of knowing your birth time. And now the moon sign, every time I hear a horoscope for my moon sign, I'm like, does that apply? And it usually takes me several minutes, probably because my moon is in the 12th house. Okay. And so the 12th house, we tend not to see it ourselves. And so it's like finally I'll be like, oh, yeah, I am feeling that way. So it's usually about my emotions. Okay. So that's how you can kind of take them and then take the synastry of the three of them together and realize what your week might hold for you. Okay. So Lynette, I'm sure your kids will get exactly what they need. What if your son is in the 12th though? is identity hidden? Not exactly, Samantha. What I usually notice for people with sun in the 12th house is that they don't always see themselves accurately.
And you have to be really mindful of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
12th house, I have a stellium, so I kind of know, which means 3 or more things in a house, which means it's amped up. If you have 3 planets in one house, that is really concentrated energy, which is what we've been talking about, that the stellium in Pisces and Aquarius. So your 12th house, you want to be really careful about good self-care and lean into spirituality. That is where all your answers will be.
All of them. It's also, so in the shadow side, it's more about like self-sabotage and stuff like that. And the 12th house is also like, it's also very much about like institutions, like hospitals, like nursing homes. So you might find yourself working in them or identifying with them somehow. And then the final point is when you get to the light, when you start expressing in the light, when your resonance changes, you'll start expressing the 12th house as psychic. So like for me, in the early part of my life, so I also have a stellium in the 12th house, me and Bright Hawk both, is not strange that we both visited nursing homes together and did a very special work helping people dying. We both have Pluto in the 12th house, different signs, but we both have Pluto in the 12th house. And together we did a nonprofit where we go to nursing homes and we visit people that are dying, and Bright Hawk plays music and I use my intuition and my words and and she also uses her words, and we come together as a team and we lift these people up. Okay. And we do this program. It's called Let's Dance.
And it's very unusual. No kidding.
Nobody
Uranus in the 12th house. So I have Uranus Pluto conjunct. That's just everything about it is right there.
So she has Uranus in the 12th house, and so do I. My Uranus is on my ascendant, but it's in the 12th house. Okay. So it's
doing things
powerful. It's about doing things unusual, strange, or different. Okay. And so we have like a mixture of all of our stuff, and we're taking it to nursing homes. But we didn't figure that out until, gosh, I was like 40 when I presented that to Bright Hawk. Okay. I'm 50 now. Okay. And so that's really the 12th house. Okay. So the 12th house, but that's in the light. When I was young in my 20s, oh my God, I sabotaged myself. I hated myself. I was very traumatized. I used to think I was a weirdo. There's something wrong with me because I don't fit into our culture. Okay. So all of those kinds of things could be in your 12th house. Okay. So just be aware that there's a shadow and a light. And my first 30 years, I was definitely in the shadow of the 12th house. I think you were too, right?
I don't know how anyone's not in the shadow of the 12th house at the
in the beginning
part of your life. It's definitely one of those that you have to grow into. And, it's an evolutionary phase.
For sure.
Evolutionary house.
And then as you evolve and you get deeper into your 12th house and you start to recognize yourself and do more self-care or anything like that, wham, you start to have profound changes and you'll probably recognize who you are. And Samantha, it probably has something to do with the light that you bring to the world. So it doesn't matter what sign it's in. If it's in the 12th house, you may not recognize it immediately, but looking back, you'll start to recognize it. Welcome, Lena. Sorry, this is the end. I hope that you didn't take my comment about the time as being ungrateful. No. No, Bianca, I even thought about you when I changed the time, but I just didn't have any other choice. If you go back and watch, you'll realize that I was not feeling good.
And we're so grateful that you pay attention to the fact that we put this out there. So this is a good time to say, if you want to make sure you know about this, make sure you subscribe. And if you add likes and comments and things like that, boy, it sure does help. It helps it come up in your feed. It helps your friends know. And, we love doing this. So it's nice when it's nice to have this interaction. We really appreciate the conversation. And
agreed. You guys ask great questions.
Yeah,
we wouldn't always think to talk about like, why is the 12th house important?
Right.
Why don't we see the 12th house? We don't see the 12th house because the 12th house is the last piece of pie. If you take a look here at this chart, you can see the 12th house is where the sun is there, right? So you see the number 12 in the middle in green. And you can see that there's this arrow pointing to the left there, right? And that's your rising, and that's where you're going. So you can't see anything that's in the very next house. So you can't see anything that's going on here. You just won't see it. It will take some time. I get frustrated with my Libra moon. There are definitely times that I'm like, really, Hollis? Really? You are 50 years old and you can't figure out how you're feeling right now? Just come on. And but I'm glad you're here, MS. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you. So thanks for sharing, commenting, anything like that. I'm going to pull 3 cards for all of us in the collective right now. This new chapter that has begun this week. It's definitely a new chapter for all of us as a collective for sure. And so this is a new chapter. This is new things, new happenings, and new challenges. That means new challenges, right? That means new ordeals. That means completely new things. Okay. So let's take a look. Welcome, Danette. I'm glad you came. And for those people that are just joining us that are new to astrology, after this, when you're done in your free time, go get your chart for free. You can get your chart for free. Just get it regular Placidus, and I will start teaching you. If you come and watch these every week, I assure you will learn. Ask Lacrosse. He's usually our other host on the show. We miss Lacrosse, but Lacrosse will tell you he learns so much just by being here and being able to ask questions. It's priceless. Absolutely. So Bianca said my north node is in the 12th house. I guess that makes sense. It's the last piece of the pie. That's right, Bianca. So really, Bianca, that's going to end up being like, you're not always going to see where you're headed. You're going to be like, where am I going and why? Right? Okay. And you're not going to know why. And you're going to be like, is there a reason I'm alive? Why am I here? You might have a little bit of that going on, but I assure you that you're here for a reason. It's just hidden from you for some reason.
And again, that's when I say the 12th house is really rich for spirituality. That is where you can really, if you can sit with yourself, go deep into that space and, ask the open-ended question of the universe, what's the next right thing? What do I need to know? What do I need to learn? How can I better serve? Ask really good questions, you'll get good answers. Ask stupid questions like, why me? You're going to get those answers too. So I would say the important quests begin with important questions. Why am I here? What can I do? How can I serve?
So, Bianca, the other thing I would say is look and see what sign it's in.
Right. And
what sign is it in?
Tons.
That will tell you a little bit about the theme. And then find out what the ruling planet of that sign is. You can just look it up. If it's Aquarius, what's the ruling planet of Aquarius? And you'll find out it's Uranus. And then go back and look and see, where is Uranus? Where is Mars? Where is Venus? Where's the ruling planet? And whatever piece of the pie it's in will be the theme of your 12th house, of your north node, which is your destiny. That's the place you're headed. So that's how you find the clues. That's how you find the answers to that. Just by the way, that works with just about anything. So if it's in Cancer, Bianca, so that's the moon. So you want to look and see, where's your moon? And that will tell you what your destiny is. Okay, and Cancer is very much about emotions.
Yeah, and I should just say, if you want to learn astrology a little bit faster than 1 hour a week with us doing a review, you can go to our website, and there is an Astrology 101 course. It's 5 modules. It walks you through the zodiac, the planets, the
ruling planets,
aspects, the ruling planets. It helps.
It does all the basics.
It helps
just
really
to get you started.
give you the language and help you understand in a big picture kind of way what we're talking about. We go through the houses, all of it.
Yeah.
So it's really helpful. There have been numerous folks that watch this that have taken advantage of that course, and they said, oh my God, the difference between being able to understand and follow what it means to me after taking the course is night and day.
Yep.
So
Jamie Angel is an example.
There.
They sometimes.
So can you put the link to that in the show notes?
I can. I'll just say that Jamie Angel sounds like Bianca. It's Gemini, so the ruler of Gemini is Mercury. Okay, so just want to find out where is Mercury, and then you find out where that is, and that'll tell you more to the story. Okay. But you can ask people like Jamie Angel. You can also go to Google, look up divine androgen, and divine androgen will pretty much tell you where, show you my reviews on Google, and most of them are about astrology. I think they're all about astrology. Right. I'm pretty sure they are. So here's the link to the class, and it does come with 2 coaching services where really I will answer your questions. Someone asked, MS said, I've been dabbling for the past year or so, but more so in medical astrology. Great. I can teach you medical astrology. Yes, MS. I've actually been considering doing some other classes. Like, some people have already taken the 101 class, and they've wondered if I could teach like death astrology, or I do death astrology. I do medical astrology. Of course, I do transits, which is what you're witnessing here. I'm not super perfect at mundane astrology, but I'm currently studying it. Mundane astrology would be like politics and stuff. But I'm better at the interpersonal stuff, like emotional stuff. And I do birth charts and synastry. That's the other type of astrology I can do and teach, that I feel confident in teaching in. So
synastry is about relationships.
Synastry, medical, death, any of those kinds of things. I can also point you in the direction of other teachers and other places to get those teachings. So, so I put a link to the, right here, divineandrogen.com/shop-2. If you go to just divineandrogen.com and click digital shop, you'll find the same page. And essentially that is the class. It comes with 2 free coaching sessions with me. I will help you read your astrology chart to a point that when you come and watch this report, it will make so much more sense to you.
And that, by the way, makes it at a really incredible value, because we're not charging a lot for the course, and to get 2 coaching sessions is like getting 2 free readings. It's like, wow, you got a lot. You got a lot. And hopefully it helps you understand you in the best possible way.
That's the point.
Helps you stop trying to rub out that freckle that's just part of who you are, and embrace the beautiful things about you, and know what you can lean into to help you solve things, get your flow going in a really good way. There's so much to astrology.
There's so much to learn. And let me just say, MS, oh my gosh, I love Judith Hill. She's great.
Oh yeah,
I have her book right here.
Completely.
I actually studied death astrology with Judith Hill, and that's why I got this book, The Lunar Nodes. It's a really great book in case you're wanting to learn more about the nodes. This is really good to help you understand your nodes, especially if your nodes have any planets on them, or understanding the transits. So I've actually studied with Judith Hill. I was actually in an email with her about my death astrology that I do. So yes, Judith Hill, and she's aware of me. And we were talking about death astrology, and she was fascinated how I was doing death astrology in a slightly different way, where a lot of people use death astrology to predict death, where I'm using astrology after death to counsel the grieving in a way. I advise them on their connection to death, and their connection, why their loved one died and why it happened that way, and things like that. That's pretty much what it's about. All right.
Pretty amazing stuff. You want to give yourself a gift? Get a reading with Hollis. Just gonna say, it's it's easy for me to say because I know how good they are, and I watch and hear a lot of the incredible advice and offering help to folks and see them go, wow, God, I really needed to understand that. Thank you so much.
I am a Scorpio rising. So what does that mean? Well,
Super psychic.
it means that I'm able to
Intuitive.
see the root of the problem. So all Scorpio risings have this incredible skill to see the root of the problem. We can see it from way out here. So if you have a problem, I can tell you what the root of it is, and I can also look at your astrology and tell you how to solve it. Okay.
What do the cards have to say?
So I pulled 3 cards for us, and the first card I want to talk about is justice. Now, this is in the past. So what has gone right for us? What justice has been served? What can we be grateful for in the past that was important? And just be aware that justice has been served in the past. And this is a reminder of how that balance is and how delicate that balance is. Okay. And as right now, this is the 3 of Pentacles. And this is very much about your community. This is very much about who's supporting you, who's loving you. Hey, you guys are supporting me right now. Thanks. Right? Okay. And that's really what this card is about. This is about supporting each other and holding each other up in a really good way, okay? And that's what this is in the here and now. So be grateful for the people that are in your life that are supporting you. And going forward, be aware that there could be some heartbreak. There could be some heartache, but always, even in the rainiest of days, there's always a rainbow. So we don't suffer for nothing, as Bright Hawk says. And so just hold on to this. This is about the 3 of Swords going forward. This is to remind you that even if you do find yourself in a brokenhearted situation, there's a solution to it. And there is a rainbow past the storm. Not everything is bad all the time. It might feel like that sometimes, but we get through it and it does pass. As Bright Hawk had to remind me last week, I think it was, when I was not feeling so good. She said, "This too shall pass." And I knew she was right. I knew she was right, because it will pass. And that's what that card is about. So remember, in the past, remember that justice, that delicate justice that was served, that delicate balance that you had in the past. That is important, because right now you're getting support from your loved ones, from people around you and friends and family. This is about the people that love you, that are supporting you. And that's an important part of the story too. And as you're going forward, you might suffer a little bit of heartache, but this is to let you know that there is a rainbow in that sun, in that storm. There are good things. This is really a special card to remind you that while there is heartache, there's also healing. Okay. And it's not always bad, and it's not going to stay that way if it is bad. And so MS is saying, that's awesome. Yeah, that book is on my list. Yeah. The death astrology is like the monthly mystery charts she does on her site of a person from history, and we try to figure out what their cause of death was. Exactly, MS. Exactly. Yeah, I know she does that. That's a great way to learn death astrology. And I look into more than just that when I do death charts, not just the cause of their death, but lots of other things like their past lives, and I add the survivor's chart to it. It's a unique chart that no one else does a reading like I do for death chart readings. I combine it with my mediumship, and I do it in a way where I help you understand what your relationship with that person was, and the fact that they died, how that death affected you, and what it's supposed to shift within you as a catalyst, and where you're going forward in that. And then, like, if you have past life connections, or were you soulmates or something. So all of that comes through in that astrology, synastry, death chart reading. Yeah, Bianca, I look forward to that. I'm sure you will. When it's time, you will. Trust in the timing of the universe. That makes a lot of sense. I'm always talking about, okay, but that's not the root of the problem. Exactly, Samantha. Oh my God, are you a Scorpio rising? Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, that surprised me. spot on.
Mhm. Yeah. So I just
It's a
want to let you
gift.
know, Samantha, you're probably right. Whatever, even if people deny it, you're probably right. Okay. So
That's great.
the last thing I want to say about our class is if you go to my page, if you really want to do that 101 class, there's a coupon on my page, Divine Androgen, on Facebook, and just go through the images. And I think the coupon code is Jupiter with a capital J. The coupon code is Jupiter. I think you save $50. So
Wow.
it's a big savings on that class. Okay. So if you're looking at that 101 class and you're like, I really want to take this and get a good, strong
Special,
astrology
just for you.
foundation, this is really going to give you the foundation that you can grow from, that you can go like once you get the foundation, everything else is easy. I'm just going to say that to you, MS. As soon as you get that foundation, you understand ruling planets and aspects and stuff, you're just like, oh, this all okay, forget it. I don't even
Unlock door.
yeah, it's like just
key.
everything else comes super easy. It's definitely the foundation of it. It's sort of like you have to know addition and subtraction to understand multiplication, right? Okay. So it's just that simple.
Yeah. Well, we hope you have a great week, a great month, a great year. It's the beginning of a new time for sure. So thanks so much for subscribing, for liking. This has been a great conversation. I love the interaction you guys have with us. It's really great, really helpful. Thank you so much and have a great week. And thanks for listening to Rainbow Soulstrology, where we try to be a bridge between you and the stars. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's Soulstrology and subscribing, liking, sharing, and reviewing. We hope you enjoy this dose of Soulstrology and encourage you to embrace the week ahead with an open mind and heart so that you may integrate the deepest of lessons from the stars. Take a moment to step outside and honor the planets, stars, and moon in the sky with your heart. Integrate the messages that resonate and leave the rest for someone else. We deeply appreciate each and every one of you. Always remember that you are a perfectly unique human with an exclusive star map of your destiny, your soul purpose, and your heart's desire. Thank you again for tuning in to Rainbow Soul.